channel message. So, this is about a comic that was trying to destiny swap with a divine feminine. Okay, channel message. This comic was in a relationship with a divine masculine, and she was comic, alcoholic, sex addict, threesome girl, fun girl, party girl, always life of the party because that's the only place she belongs. Gold digger, used the masculine for all his resources and got as much as she could from the masculine. Rent, food, maintenance, hair, clothes, party, alcohol. She was just bagging it in with this masculine. And then this masculine felt like he deserved something better for himself, because he is a divine masculine. Eventually he will want better for himself. And then he got with a divine feminine who was on his frequency, on his level, independent, could take care of herself, didn't need money for hair, nails, clothes, food, drinks, and was matching him even on a mental and spiritual level. Masculine fell in love. Karmic feminine is a Jezebel witchy person. So she did some divine work, divination on the masculine, and found out that he's falling in love with another girl. And then she then found out who the girl was, and then did divination work on the girl and found out that she's a divine feminine. So this comic has always wanted to be seen as somebody worthy of just being more than a party, sex, threesome, orgy girl, that one day this man will decide that he wants to make her a wife and tell her to rest her whole life. Oh, she's also a prostitute and a stripper. Yeah, and she dabbles in witchcraft, but dark, low vibrational witchcraft, nothing elevated. So this karmic feminine did some research, spiritual research on this feminine, the divine feminine, and then let the divine feminine continue messing with the masculine because she wanted to siphon energy from the divine masculine of the divine feminine that he would get from the divine feminine when they were having sex. So this karmic feminine then was busy siphoning the energy of this divine feminine, and then cloaked herself in the divine feminine's energy and was able to get a bit closer to the masculine. Her cloaking herself in the divine masculine's life made herself now first or more appealing to the divine masculine. So she then became the divine, the comic then became the divine feminine that can still get down and nasty. So she had the positive traits of being a sound woman, honest, reliable woman that appears holy and wholesome, but then in the bedroom she, still does what she do and still allows him to have the orgies and threesomes. So he was getting best of both worlds. So this this comic then, now operating in the divine feminine's energy, decided to do more magic on this masculine. She's been doing magic on the masculine. She's been doing love spells and give me money spells because, she's been abusing magic on this masculine for a while. So she did magic on this masculine to turn against the divine feminine. And then once she got him to turn against the divine feminine, she then was able to convince him to partake in witchcraft activities against the divine feminine, because she wanted to take up the entire essence of the divine feminine. She wanted to live in the skin of the divine feminine so much. She wanted to be her, embody her whole energy, take her whole life, walk her whole path, and take her whole man and her whole life, because this man was about to marry her. And then the comic then wanted to do a grand sacrifice, destiny swap, and involved a whole cult, and decided that she wants to take this divine feminine's life, and orchestrated and got this divine masculine to pay for death magic to be sent towards his own divine feminine. Yes, death magic to be sent towards his own divine feminine, so that he can have the life that he's always dreamt of having a divine feminine in a hoe, which would be this comic hoe that he was with. So the karmic couple now, because now they're operating karmic energy, didn't know that the divine feminine is a high priestess. The divine feminine also practices magic, but the divine feminine has healed and has done all her shadow work and is a consistent meditator. Divine feminine was able to detect what is being done to her through her spirit team and her intuition and her dreams. And then the divine feminine reversed all the working that was being done to her, sent all that death magic back to the karmic. Divine masculine almost lost his life and was saved by the divine feminine spiritually, because she is connected. So she was able to spare him in the spirit because he didn't know what he was doing. He was under the influence of the karmic feminine. And then okay, so the karmic feminine did rituals to become the first in this masculine's life. She did rituals to be seen as the one that he should be. So at the time that they were deciding to do this magic that she had already done of cloaking herself in the divine empress, the divine feminine's energy was already set. She was already number one in the masculine's eyes because of the magic of cloaking herself in the energy. Now the mistake she made, because she's inexperienced in the occult, when she went to the altar, her altar, or whichever altar she went to try and sacrifice the divine feminine by sending death magic, in that spell casting there was a heavy emphasis on the first shall be put last and the last shall be put first. Now, unfortunately for her, because she had cloaked herself in the divine feminine's energy at the time of doing that particular ritual, she was the first at that time. She doesn't have knowledge, so she didn't think of this. She was the first in the masculine's eyes at the time. She did that ritual with the masculine, where the first will be put last and the last will be put first. And what happened is that the divine feminine, when this magic happened, the ritual was done and the candles were burnt and the petition was burnt and the blood was spilled, the first, who was now the karmic, because she had cloaked herself in the energy of the divine feminine, has now become last because of her own hand, her own doing, her own intention, her own working. And now the divine masculine is looking at the divine feminine like gold. She was put last and now she is the first, and that is exactly what he wants now. So the magic did manifest. The magic was successful. The sacrifice was successful. However, because the karmic had cloaked herself in the divine feminine's energy at the time of sacrifice, she was first. So then she was put last, and the divine feminine, who was last, was then put first. And that is how they live happily ever after. The divine orchestrated this whole situation to happen the way that it did, and the divine has done a stellar job in the Uno reverse of what this karmic tried to do. Now the karmic knows that the divine feminine is meant for this masculine. Now this karmic knows that the divine feminine is quite more powerful than she could ever imagine. And now the karmic is swimming in sorrow, debt, misery, abandonment, stagnation, lack, everything that she wanted for the divine feminine. Namaste.